Hare Krishna. We're back at it. I'm always happy when I'm about to have conversations. I've got two wonderful people here with me. I am very well acquainted with Unomsa. She's been in my space. We're doing work around Wits University, around Wake Up South Africa. And it's been a couple of years now. She's introduced me to another amazing mind, Ulindo. So we're having a conversation about many things that are going on within the country, in the world, trying to give some spiritual perspectives on it, or just trying to process what it means to us and the people around us. So what I'll do is I'll ask the two of you to just introduce yourselves and tell us, where you're at, what you're doing, or what you're thinking to do, and how we are in this conversation together. So they say ladies first.
Last one's last.
You're a last one?
Yeah. Oh. Well, in this situation, I'm a last one.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Savyasachi, and Nomsa, for the opportunity. My name is Ulindo Uhlembuli. I'm an author, a self-published author, a law graduate, also a graduate of advanced research methodologies. I'm a creative in the main, a conscious person, a spirit, someone who has had his spiritual awakening since 2015, and I write and I research a lot. I love music and I also make music. So that's me, and I'm happy to be part of this conversation. Thank you.
Nice. I'm making a note of making music.
Oh, snap. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's true. I should have just taken the ladies first. How do you say after that? Oh, God. Hi, everyone. I'm Nomsa. I am a Joburg born and raised person. I know there's very few words. So, yeah, Joburg through and through. I'm a student of life. I'm an actual student just in general. I feel like I'm a career student perpetually. I'm a researcher. I'm into labor research at the moment, but I really enjoy international research, international politics, and that's where my mind is at. But of late, my mind has been in agriculture and land, because I just feel like that's where they won't see me coming. Let me say it like that. They won't see me coming. Yeah. You better know. Yeah. So I'm really interested in agriculture, and more so women in agriculture, because I think that's a space that is very neglected. It's not so explored as much, and historically, women have tilled and taken care of the land, at least in Southern Africa. So when we take the land back,
my boo,
not where, if, when. When we take the land back, I do hope to see a lot of women in the forefront. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Land. Actually, interestingly enough, the earth is Mother Earth. So, she's actually the foremost woman who's supplying everybody their nourishment. She's the mother. And I'm thinking we actually have a friend in common, or someone, an acquaintance maybe, in that space of agriculture. Like a shout out to Kukule too. She's got a farm, I think, in Witbank, and trailblazing. Yeah. She was telling in that space, not so many. I also have this interest in agriculture. Okay. Just considering that the most immediate need of everyone is food. And traveling to different places around the planet in Southern Africa, you see that the resource of land is plenty, but she's not being engaged for the benefit of the people. Yeah, and I often think, actually, if a government is definitely interested in the welfare of the people, then it's a no-brainer what's the needs of the people. But you see, because there's some system which is supposed to be profiting from the people, then people would rather starve than the parent of the government growing food, or at least training people, empowering them how to grow their own food, you know.
It's true. I've actually also wrote a quote about land to say, we are detached from the land, forced to fight for the rand. Because basically that's what's happening. And when you bring in government into the land and the food or self-sustainability conversation, I remember the whole program the former president Thabo Mbeki was in, to say one home, one garden, and somehow they just rubbished that, just disappeared. It was there, it was a thing, it was starting to gain traction to say one home, one garden, and that was, I guess, a bad message for the powers that be, to say if people can self-sustain, then what's going to happen to all these malls and supermarkets then?
Yeah, I think that sort of common sense knowledge is what will save people. I think that common sense is no longer as common. Because actually that, I just heard the other week, a friend of mine from Slovenia, that it's standard there, that every home must have a garden. It's like must. We were just Eswatini, and one good friend was showing us his garden, and we're there admiring it, and I was talking about, yes, everybody needs to have this, and he was like, yeah, this is what we are in Slovenia. Everybody's got a garden. I grew up, and I was thinking, hey, that's not just you.
It's all about
like everyone has.
Yeah. No, they don't have access to soil. I have a very controversial view about, maybe not so controversial, but I just think that people living in apartments just detach themselves or them from the land. Like, where are you going to plant when you live in an apartment? And a lot of them are adult reses, let's be honest. There's nothing productive that's happening there. It's basically like being at res, but you pay for it. It's no longer funded by NSFAS or your parents or whatever. And you're so detached from all of that by the time it's time to get a bond and whatever, you can see that people are ready to just pave any type of land that's available, because they just feel like it's too much work, it's too much this. And they'll tell you, like, I had a friend who was so adamant that she would never own a house, and if she did, it would never have a garden because it was just too much work. Like, she just could not imagine herself having to get someone to mow the lawn, or even having, like, just to take care of that. But that's how detached you are. Like, where do you think the food you eat comes from? Where do you think all of these things come from? But also just, like, the respect for where you live. Like, it's part of it. Like, if you say, I can't do that because some concrete structure is taking care of me, what happens when it's no longer there? But it's like that major detachment from what is and what was and where we are right now. Like, people are just so far removed.
Yeah, it's created like that. I mean, if you hear the dystopian type future that's being advertised, like 15-minute cities, and I think there's one building in Saudi Arabia or something, there's some kilometers of building. So the whole thing is that people will be stacked up in this buildings where you have your malls, your parking, maybe you even work downstairs, schools, and you don't have to go anywhere, and you can get everything within that structure. And that means they want to leave the whole of earth, I don't know, to what? But anyway, if once you gather people together in one place and you control where they get their food, and you know exactly where they are at any given time, then that's just like any dictator's wet dream, boom, I've got them. So we have to actually keep that conversation going, and common sense, I think. Let's get back to land. Doesn't mean that you are now devoid of your city amenities. It just means that we are connected to some sort of nourishment, some land that we're cultivating, where we can have full autonomy as to what is being planted and what is being harvested, how it's being harvested, because that's what we eat.
True. And I mean, when you have people in one area, one building, isn't that just a prison?
Yes.
It's a different type of prison. It's like a prison.
Well marketed.
Exactly, it's a well marketed prison. Because we'll never know. Maybe they have curfew, maybe they have other things that now, just back to prison and you can't be out at this time. Why were you out at this time and so forth? So it's really, really crazy. And I think basically what is happening is they're really, really messing with human psychology right now. And that's how all these low frequency ideas are going to win. Because if you are seeing, it's the concentration span that is really being attacked. YouTube is pushing shorts now. TikTok, you see how TikTok grew like wildfire, how it picked up, because it's low concentration span. Then they would show you the inventors or the developers of TikTok. China, they're using it for very constructive things like DIY. It's almost everything there is DIY. And I think sometimes our own freedom might as well is leading us to our own destruction. The very same freedom that we have. Basically, it seems like freedom to mediocrity, freedom to be mediocre. And we are consuming these low frequency things that are messing up our concentration span so much that we cannot now rationalize. And we are able to take whatever that has been given to us without interrogating it further. How many kids are finishing 3 pages now? How many people can go into a 1 hour documentary? I mean, 1 hour of information consumption. We can go 3 hours.
Not entertainment, just
Avengers, oh my God, the Black Panther is coming through. But can we go through a webinar, a conference, a seminar? Can we go educational things? Can we vibrate at that frequency for longer? Or are we really here in a Maya state? And it's so good, what? Like how this guy says with sci-fi in the Matrix, to say ignorance is bliss.
Oh yeah, he's being offered.
Yeah, so a lot of people are really having the time of their lives, and to their own detriment. By the time we wake up, the ozone layer is messed up. Climate change. By the time, if we were to wake up, I don't know whether the masses eventually going to wake up, and the work that we must do, you might find that some of it is irreparable. To repair the Amazon forest. It's happening, but are you seeing it hitting the media? No. Like Pete Diddy and other things. It's one human, yes, messing up other humans. We get it. We're not saying we condone that. It needs attention, it needs to be addressed, it needs the backlash, it needs everything. But the Amazon being referred to as the lungs of the planet, but we can't get angry at the fact that the Amazon is burning, the Amazon is depleting, we are losing most of the species in the world that are sacred, tribes that have not interacted with the world. It's all going down there, and we're just okay with it. That's where I'm seeing that the more...
Even I know about Diddy. I'm a monk, I shouldn't.
Even if you don't want to, you are there. And you just think, but why? And why now?
You see, so guys, I really feel sometimes I don't know whether are we going to wake up and will we have enough time to restore, or what's really going on, or should we just keep to ourselves, me and my family, just try to have a trust, save money.
I have an optimism that anyone who catches on, like you're saying, the reward centers are now being fired up for this short-term content, dopamine hits as it's being put, and sensational stuff, controversy, danger, those things, they are very attractive. You could say sources of dopamine. That's where you get the hit. Anyone who catches on and can understand that actually it's spiritual warfare, because it's an attention economy, you could say. That consciousness has an ability to focus, but it's like a very tiny ray of awareness that if you don't focus it somewhere, you don't really move. And so now you've got this laser ability of focus, and it's being moved here, left, right, and center. So if anyone can see that there's a manipulation of where our focus and our attention is going, and they start to do the work of removing their focus on the things that are not consequential to personal health, physical, psychological, what to speak, spiritual, then there's a change. And I feel, we're sitting here, and I look at the two of you and many people I've spoken to, that we're catching on. It's just now some alliances are needed amongst those people who see where this is going and how it's affecting the future. And the more we can talk about it and have developed some practical projects, plans of action, something we can do to help the masses reorient themselves to reality, not this made-up, controlled reality. Like right now, so Tina Abo Didi are all over where everyone is sitting. And many people say, as you're saying, like, why so much this? What else is being cooked in the background? Like the Amazon, you're saying some children, you ask them, if I say Amazon, what do you think of?
That's funny. They probably think about the shipping service, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
They think about Bezos. They don't even consider there's some river or some forest.
Or a warrior tribe of females, the Amazons.
Yeah.
So
that's what's been put on the forefront. The branding goes with that, so the corruption that is being exposed, in one sense, is a positive thing.
Okay.
In that there's a lot of role models that come from that Hollywood complex, celebrity culture. They're celebrated. Why? And given attention and pushed to the masses because they must be representing a messaging that favors the corporate interest, the finance interest behind. They will not give you that much attention if you're not furthering that financial interest. So when people see that we are modeling our lives and we're idolizing and consuming content always of persons who aren't themselves really giving us what we need, except they're taking our precious human time. Mm-hmm. What's the research? Sometimes kids are doing upward of like 8 hours, 10 hours a day on social media. I mean, that's
crazy.
That means
that is crazy.
Oh snap.
Also, the other lungs that are not spoken about are the lungs in Congo. Like, we always forget about that's also the biggest cleaner of the world. And just how vast that is, and the ecosystem that exists there includes water, plants, air, gas, and all of that, and no one really focuses on that. And of course now there's a focus on the fact that there's the exploitation element of it, like children are being used to mine coltan and all these other resources that are there, but there's the other side that's just also being destroyed, the lungs of the earth. Like, what's anyone doing about it? Does anyone even care? Like, also it just seems like people care about whatever's a hashtag, and until then it's like, after that it's like, back to your normal routine, back to your being distracted.
And I really get so curious because I don't know, like, it's like we are existing in two different worlds. I think that's when you actually see that, okay, the matrix is real. You know what? When you read some things, the evidence is there, the data is there, a lot is there, but on implementation, it's none. For instance, as Noms was saying about people living in apartments, when you do research on agro, it's urban farming, you find that there are groups, there are companies pushing people to farm in urban areas. They will show you models using the palisade, using a matayera, using a lot of
good,
It's like okay, we somewhere, So if you're not in South Africa, if you're not in Joburg, you could rightfully write the paper and say, no, in South Africa actually people are farming in their apartments and it's called urban farming and it's a viable thing, only to find out that no. So back with what's happening in Congo, and we have so many NPOs, NGOs, you know, we have about gift of the givers. So that's where you see it. Oh, so they pick which course of action do we take. All these NPOs, if the earth dies, they won't have a platform to advocate for instance, take SERI, Socio-Economic Rights Institute. If the earth were to go global warming and, you know, we just burn out, whose socio-economic rights are they going to fight for? So isn't it the most logical thing to do to fight for the natural causes? That's when people were talking about plant a tree or Wi-Fi, and everyone was going for Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi, like, I would rather have a Wi-Fi. Then all of a sudden, there's no earth, you know, to even connect to. So it's so crazy that we have a lot of NGOs, a lot of good initiatives, but that are not, I don't know, I feel like some wars, they're not winning. When was the war on poverty started? Is it going to end? But we have so many great causes, like, this was founded 1860 something, but poverty is just still going up there. So I don't know. That's why I'm saying, as you're saying, that you are an optimist. You're an optimist, to say you feel like there's a huge change, and maybe some generations or eras are going to be a catalyst to the awakening of people. And more people are going to wake up, and whatever spaces of influence they're in, they could influence and really end.
Yeah, it's education, I see, that is lacking.
Okay.
When someone doesn't know about the existence of a particular beneficial organization or skill, or they don't know where they could connect to whatever beneficial knowledge, then they wouldn't have that option to take. I find that now that we have such platforms like the internet, and in some way the knowledge can go out there to the people. Foundationally, it is knowledge about God which has been tainted in the eyes of the people. You see, if knowledge of God, and God represents the source of everything and everyone, then you can expect that that is the deepest, vastest knowledge. But if we look at the schools that are mainstream representatives of knowledge of God, we find that there's a lot of exclusivity, which, when you think that God includes everyone, He's created everything and everyone, He loves everyone, He maintains everyone, then how is it that now knowledge about God then belongs to this group and that group, and only if you're in this group or that group do you transcend? So my particular interest is to really push this point that nobody has a monopoly on God, and nobody has a monopoly on higher consciousness. And to say that higher consciousness will not be cheap, just as whatever degree that you get at university is not cheap. At least higher consciousness doesn't have to cost money. Degrees cost so much money and so much labor. Year in, year out, you have to study, write the exams. But this self-knowledge and knowledge of the Creator, this won't be cheap, in that the work of raising your consciousness above the platforms where you can be controlled and manipulated easy, that has to be pushed as the new cool. Are you like self-actualized? Are you pursuing self-realization? Are you in charge of your mind and senses? Or are you a puppet being pulled along by the machine? So that message gives me optimism, in that the knowledge systems are already there. It's just that the access to them is being covered over by this narrative that, oh, religion is this poison thing that you shouldn't investigate. When I say, yes, the religions that have capitalized or weaponized religious principles, they have made religion look bad, because it's human beings who take knowledge of higher principles, trademark it, brand it, and divide people with it. So people should look for spiritual principles, and actually if you want to be the change, then you have to be the experiment. Put yourself for reform.
Okay.
If you don't reform yourself, then there's a lot of talk about how things could be changed.
Yeah.
But there's no accountability to any school. Am I changing? So, not to toot my own horn, but to say I liked becoming a monk because I understood the process of accepting a guru, a spiritual master. Meaning there's a teacher and you're becoming a disciple. Means there will be some discipline and guidance towards raising your consciousness. So discipleship for people who actually want to be change makers, they have to be of a certain caliber to really impact. So yeah, one of those things I think about is education, and I find that the information age, there's enough now information. If we shout it out more and more, people will catch on, and I think things can be adjusted. But I must put out this. In the school that I am in, it talks about a 10,000 year sort of golden age, which we might understand started over about 500 years ago, where this gravitation towards higher wisdom will sort of come about, even though things are getting tough. But it says after the 10,000 years, then the window starts to close, and the degradation that we're seeing intensifies. So, get moving.
Get out the bus.
So I wanted to ask two questions. One was on the tuition of becoming a monk. Since you already touched on it, I get accepting a guru, a teacher, becoming a disciple. And how does it end? How do you maybe at that time, maybe they're still calling you Spusi, so at that time they say, come, as part of you're going to receive this name then, or, the name just starts from the journey you walk. Okay. And to Alaiken, when you're saying that 10,000 years, then things are going to change.
Really?
Isn't it like the other version of Krishna that you're also explaining, the one that just comes and ends so that things can restart? Is it similar, or this is just different?
So the beginning of the journey, come as you are, and by spending time with those who are following this wisdoms of books like Bhagavad Gita. Personally, I joined an ashram, a temple. So yes, I was Buddhist for about 2 years, until I connected to a particular teacher or guru, and then became initiated, something like baptism,
Okay.
and accepting some vows.
Yes.
So that means we have to be embracing a life of honor. So even marriages, people pronounce vows, or you get to a team, there's a contract, and then there's an unveiling of the player, and he's kissing the badge of the team, meaning he's embracing a tradition, a way of being. So that it's not just lip service, then you are in a community that monitors you to encourage you to be able to live according to the tradition, the high standards. So then after 2 years, then I got formally initiated. I was given the name Savyasachi. Das, meaning servant. Always that part is important. And then the second part is that it's explained the 4 ages of the earth.
Okay.
It's like seasons. So the summer, the spring, the autumn, the winter. So currently we are in the winter. It's the shortest, but the most difficult, in the sense that it's the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. So symptoms are that we are short-lived, we're quarrelsome, we're lazy, we're misguided, we're unlucky, and we're always disturbed. So in that winter, there's 10,000 years where the winter hasn't really kicked in, where the opportunity to upgrade is readily available. Then just the impact of the age becomes so strong that spirituality is nowhere to be found, really. It's just scavengers and hobgoblins and just cannibalism. But then that personality I mentioned, Kalki, is an incarnation of Krishna who then just kills off whatever is left to start like a summer, which is called Treta Yuga, an age of goodness where there's virtue. Yeah, so it's a whole system of cyclic time. So although it's 10,000 years, someone at home might I won't be here, most. I might as well just get it when I can. But higher wisdom understands, and all cultures speak that the soul is immortal. Jesus spoke of the immortal soul. What will profit a man to gain the whole world, lose his soul? African wisdoms talk about ancestors. The priests talk about going to a better place. Everyone is saying at the death that the person has left, but they have not died. So
I mean, mummification, reincarnation, they're all saying we are preserving you for your second coming.
So we will have to account or come back to a situation which has become degraded. So we might as well try and get ahead now while there are opportunities.
You spoke before we started about this 1,000-year plan that someone has already planned 1,000 years ahead for society. And basically everyone who's born is being plugged into that plan. Can you elaborate more on that? And also just as a spiritual being, how do you escape that? Because already, like, if someone has already planned something for me, like, I can't see a future that they've already perceived for me. But I'm also trying to escape. Like you're saying, get off. The earth is about to go, you know. So rather jump off quickly.
Yeah. See, the Vedic literature discusses two types of beings within the universe: the divine and the demoniac. So previously in the Satya Yuga, the summer of the universe, then the lineages of the divine and the demoniac were clear. The demoniac, they also know what are the divine laws, but they just choose not to follow it. They want to live for their own whims and pleasures. So they were on different planets. As the ages progress, then they are living on the same planets, but different dwellings. You know, there's a clear divide. As it progresses, then they are living in the same household, the same village. And in the age of quarrel, in the age of Kali, the divine and demoniac are living within the same heart. Meaning within us, there's a divine and demoniac nature. And we can see that sometimes we're inspired to virtue, sometimes it's just like, so bonaksasa. So in that sense, then there's always these two plans that's been going on. How to elevate humanity to be in line with the laws of nature of God, or those who just are trying to be deviant. And on micro scales, Earth is just one small part of the universe. That plan is still there. That the schools of divine wisdom have always been there, and the schools of how to use knowledge to amass power for a few. So those were called secret societies, secret schools. They also have initiations into them. And their vision is what is now known as the One World Order or New World Order. It just means that concentrating power in the hands of a few. And therefore you find that global finance, media, education, it's all centralized in some ways. And part of that plan is that if you're going to control many people, then you have to be in charge of the playground, how they operate. So that means if you've built the infrastructure, the hospitals, the education systems, the media, you've created a worldview for them. So whoever is born, already we belong to the state. And whatever that state is, these days states are even just companies. And they report under a certain control. And those controlling forces are generally above even the government platforms. They're in the backgrounds. So previously this was like, oh, it's conspiracy theories, you know. But you hear of all these Illuminatis, the Masons, or the Skull and Bones, Bilderberg groups. These are not just ramblings of mad people. I remember a person called David Icke. He dedicated himself to the studying of what are the controlling powers on the planet and trying to tell people about it. 20 years ago, we were like, yeah, he's onto it. And a lot of people just thought he's a nut. You study now the things that he has said. Now they're like public domain knowledge. A lot more people can verify it. So in that sense, that plan is run through the different countries, centralized. Like we just saw now, something like World Health Organization, for the good or for the bad, but we could see that one organization was able to get all governments to follow certain policies, say in regards to dealing with COVID-19. So in that sense, you can see how a group of few can decide something that goes on for the world. Look at now money. Cash is being kicked out. All these digital platforms of money are coming, cashless society. When that was being spoken of earlier, it was like,
Yeah.
It seemed like it was we couldn't fathom that.
Yeah. Now you can understand the world of artificial intelligence is now coming in, for the good or for the worse, but means everyone will have to work with it or be crushed by it. So we are being moved always in a certain direction. That means the plans are always unfolding. So we advocate that in the interim, I should have a plan that transcends the lifetime of this body. That spiritual plan is what the divine teachers have always been sharing with mankind. This is one page of an eternal book of your existence. Don't become so caught up in the story of this one page, and then you lose the plot, or you divert your life in such a way that you don't progress but you go down.
Oh no, that's beautiful. On the plan, then you hear about classified technologies.
Oh, it's not for anyone.
Yo, man, like, wow, why is it classified though? I mean, I'm just a tech user as well. Can't I just use this? And you find maybe that other people are already using telephones or making calls with holograms. Could just see the other person. And a lot of the things we've been seeing in movies like 20 years, then they start just being rolled out. So it's like the media first conscientizes us first, so that we don't outrightly reject these things. Then if you remember, Samsung came with the virtual whatever thing, and other games started coming in, where the Oasis Ready Player One by Steven Spielberg.
That movie,
yeah, you know, like I just I'm inclined to believing that we are actually implementing a certain plan. We are definitely,
It's one part of it is this. It's called transhumanism. That this version of humanity is now slow and sort of obsolete. It takes up resources. This is the philosophy of such people, that we need another version of human beings.
Okay.
And part of that means first we have to cull off, the numbers. It's too many to be on this planet. If you remember The Matrix, Anderson,
I never watched The Matrix. I'm too young.
Please, this plug, whoever watches this, that first movie, The Matrix, please watch it.
Yeah.
and sit with your
Trilogy.
friends
Yeah.
and discuss it. You know, as it goes further, it gets a little too philosophically dense. That very first one is really...
It's like a summary of the other three.
Yes, and it's not as hard to see what's going on. So anyway, point about Mr. Anderson is that he's literally disgusted by being here on Earth. You know, he feels like you people are like a virus, like a bacteria.
Oh, Smith.
Oh, Smith.
Smith, yes.
Anderson is Neo, my
Yes,
bad.
yes, yes.
Smith.
Yes.
And he just wants to get the mission done where you get the humans all stuck in that matrix, cube plugged in, and he can go back to, you know, whatever higher level he thinks life is. So that philosophy is not just coming from the air. These stories are coming from the minds of people. They're thinking like that. So part of all of that is a virtual world. More and more we are being plugged in, and augmented realities, virtual realities, and we're neural link, like Yaga Elon Musk, put a chip in and make an interface between human brain and computer, such that now you could just, don't you want to surf the internet at like high speeds?
Oof, at will, at, you know.
Yeah. So it's basically, it's a godless philosophy where mankind wants to be in control, not only of where you eat, what you buy, what you know, but down to now even the movement of the machine. So the more you want power, it's the more you want to be God, because God means supreme controller, supreme enjoyer. But God also means supreme well-wisher of everyone. He's a loving parent. So his systems are such that they can take care of all if only they are willing to share it.
Yeah, you're right.
But now our philosophy is that, oh, this is good. Okay, let's just fence it around. We'll bottle this water. We buy all the sources of natural water and we bottle it and we sell it back. Or we'll sell some of the water to fizzy drink companies who pollute it with whatever colorings and...
Oh, yeah. Or this
So then
land
people
that
are lacking.
produces this land that produces these minerals, this cocoa. Back in the DRC again, there are minerals. They have a lot. I mean, they're in the top 3 worlds who produce minerals, rich in minerals. That thing to say people are trying to preserve for themselves, just for capitalism.
Yeah. You
And then,
destabilize the
it's-
region.
It's not godly values, honestly. It
Yeah.
can't.
So in one sense, once God has been, how you could say, he's gotten bad press in the minds of the people. Like you may have seen the trend where just to not believe in God has become cooler and cooler. And people who can just say that, it's like they've freed themselves or something from, or people are learning to also be agnostic. It's okay in that if you don't find compelling understanding and personal realization to say, okay, right now I have not had that experience or I haven't found enough information to make me a believer. But it's also another thing when you're looking at the arbiters of good in the world, like say Christianity and Islam, for example, they are the big two, and Judaism. They share a history together. They're like practically cousins. And for lack of a better word, their beef is what has created all these rifts and wars and occupations in the history of modern men currently. I mean, we could probably go down 500, 1,000, 2,000 years. That's how far we sort of are educated to know. And we're looking at these fighting and occupying and killing, and therefore our summary of what religion is the history of these cousin religions. And in one sense, when we feel like we are more virtuous than this, we think naturally these people have been fighting, they can't be representing God. Then we say, let me be free of them. But free for what? Free to be governed by your own mind and senses. I will just be a consumer and an enjoyer. So still we are neglecting then what are the laws of this universe. So I'm trying, and there's a network of people around the world, hopefully, who want to be advocates of the laws of nature. What is God's intention with us, and what is this world, how does it operate, and how can we align ourselves with those laws and transcend the control of the so-called freedom that we're getting from being irreligious and godless. It's actually more of a prison. Yeah. I was thinking even culture, because certain cultures have their rules and regulations and values, so people are bound to act in certain ways because of that culture. That's also being eroded. Family. In our family, we don't do this, we don't do that. So when you kill those institutions of family, you kill traditional cultures, you introduce this situation of independent individuals who make their own rules and regs how to move in life. You basically broaden the base of economic exploitation, because my fancies need to be accommodated. So we can sell you whatever it is that you think will please your senses and make you enjoy. But whereas the cultures and religions and families, they limit the individual. That's what they'll say. But if a parent is kind of putting you under some rules and regulations, generally it's to protect you from straying away and being exploited out there and victimized.
Yeah.
So similarly, I would say the rules and regulations of God are just that, to keep us protected from the rogues of just free to be.
And I mean discipline as well. I mean the rules or the house or the box that your family can box you in might be well for your own discipline, for you to be disciplined. Because if you go too astray and you do what the Kumalos are doing, what the Ngomalos are doing, what the Steinhazens are doing, all by the end of the year, how much would have done and progress. One of my mentors at work said it's better to do one thing and succeed in one thing than to try and do 10 things and succeed in none. Because over time, the person who does one thing a year and succeeds compared to this person who does 10 things a year and does not succeed, the one who does one thing a year will be more progressive than this other person. So similar to us being, boxed by certain rules and certain things for our own well-being. Because as I've said, that I received my spiritual awakening in 2015, and I was with a group of conscious people, and I was not eating meat, and I was in KZN, and the place that we're in was so dense. It had a lot of trees, and the O2, what it was doing, it was jamming the signals. Somehow we would lose network when we were in that place. You could start feeling and hearing the trees talking to you because it was so natural and organic. But within the system, it was very, very beautiful. And after having had that, I really thought, no, I got this. Since I've been shown, since I've seen, since I had an out-of-body experience, had my third eye open and had all these things like, this is it. Only to find out that I still live in this flesh. I still have desires, I still have weaknesses, I still have biases, and, then, you can go down. So for you to have a system that can reinforce those values, that's strength. I think for me that's best. I would not even see it like as a prison or isn't as what, because the sun rises every day. Is that a prison? Or it's the orbit? It is what must be done. There are certain flowers that blossom at night and close off during the day. Maybe they're in places where there's too much heat, like desert flowers. They close off
so they don't
during the
get
day.
burnt
Things like that. So some things, they have a natural order. And what AI is doing and what the powers that be are trying to, as you're saying, like give nature a bad press. I mean, nature, the most beautiful thing ever. Nature is like, you know, when you look at honey and you think, this is no machine here. Honey, everyone loves honey. You know, so there's so many beautiful things. When you look at offsprings, when, you know, I'm so blessed that I've been around 3 provinces and I don't only know one aspect of life, because that's it. Being in KZN for me was the best thing, because it has the beaches, it has everything, and the culture. It's just one. It's mainly Amazulu there, and when you talk, when you greet people, you see this book, Decolonizing the Mind, The Politics of African Literature. I forget the author, but I know people will know, you know, the author. I think Ngugi Watiyongo. Ngugi, you know? He talks about a language to say it's important because it has 2 things in it. Yes, a language is for communicating, as we are communicating in English. But English has its own manners, table manners, you know, sit upright, excuse me, bless you when you sneeze, bless you. That's their manners. So in KZN, you know, the culture behind this is that respect, oh my, you know, and the nature, what it was doing for me.
I was just Eswatini.
Yeah,
and you're probably experiencing the same thing.
Yeah.
I was taken aback, actually. Yeah. Like, we went to see a doctor we wanted to invite for a session with the Renal Association of Eswatini. We're going to do a talk with them. But this is the day before.
Okay.
And so this cousin of mine had to go and speak to her. How he introduced himself, how he honored her, and the way he just, like, it's like a charm that her response also became so sweet, so respectful. She gave different ideas of how we can go about, who we can find. But I was feeling how in my head, I've been so influenced with this, you know, get it done, you know, just tell why we're here and, you know, let's move. But that is what you're mentioning. It's just another world where it's so personal. Like, it takes into consideration the person, their family, their values, their qualifications. It was like poetry. I was sitting there just smiling like, wow, what a beautiful interaction, yes.
Exactly, and that's the thing. It's like, it's a facade. We live under such a big construct that, take business for instance, we have the code of good practice. We are on the 4th, if not the 5th now, the good code, you know, the code, where they've been saying people over profits, people before profits. It's well known, but do we see that being implemented? It's not. In business, you find business owners being very happy to pay a fine than to follow a certain regulation.
Yes.
Like fishing laws in Cape Town to say, you know, we'll fish more than what we are supposed to fish. Of course, it's going to make us money. And from the money from the crime we made, we're going to pay the fine. We made 10 million, the fine is 10,000. I mean, we'll
might as well.
we'll continue doing the crime.
That's crazy. That also goes with road freight. Like, truck drivers are taught, if it means saving your freight, saving whatever's in the truck, or losing that person's life and crashing that car, I'd rather crash the car. But make sure that the cargo gets to its destination. And they're like, I'll just pay it off. They've got insurance. There's no regard for human life. And that's the thing when you're both talking about these very heavy traditional values that once you come to Joburg, as a Joburger, it's like rejected, like yo, istala. Like, you're like, no one wants to deal with that. Backwards. Jim comes to Joburg. What the hell? You know? And I'm just thinking how beautiful it would have been in our intros, how easy it would have been also to be like, I'm Nomsa, and then Itagazelo. Like, the ease of that and the flow of that without having to think too hard about so much. And yet it's all taken away only because we're moving towards something that we don't even understand. Even in terms of language, like I see so many young kids speak English. And it still boggles my mind. Like, I mean, I know so many people are happy for it. Like, and you're just like, no, that's not cool. Like, that's scary. Because in a couple of years, that means erosion, language death. Then we don't have, then the person who can speak that language is a relic. Like, oh wow, look what they're doing.
And you're just a nuisance to even hark on that they should be speaking.
Yeah, then the people are getting, they get really upset. Like, as long as they talk, as long as they communicate, we're like, okay, yeah, cool, they can. But they, like you were saying with Nguki Wationga, there's so much nuance that comes with language that's just beyond communication. There's mannerisms, there's posture, there's respect, there's ways of doing things. Even in a tradition like Bhakti, there's so much that just comes with the language. You have to really prepare yourself and be a particular way just to deliver whatever you want to say. It's more than just I'm here, you know. There's a flow to it, and that goes with everything. There's a flow to all these languages, and
I'm just thinking that the aspect of spirituality and the aspect of God consciousness, that also in the language, when you probe into it, you can detect, sanbona. Sometimes it's even said to you're on your own, but
singular,
but you're being meaning acknowledging that there's aspect of God within you. You see, Namaste is now very popular.
Oh yeah,
folding hands when you greet someone, again acknowledging God within the individual. Umuntu or Bantu, Ubuntu, almost like it's, if you have Ubuntu, that means you have the culture of decency and respect, almost the culture of the spirit. Without it, you're as good as a dead person. Arahanabutu is a non-being almost. So, yeah, this probe of what's going off very easily can be traced back to the cancellation of what was common knowledge, that this world has always higher and higher rulers and governors, authorities. Like the child is born, can see the mother is the immediate authority. And then the child, as they grow, they see, oh, mama also cooperates or follows the father. Or the father is following like the chief, or the chief, maybe the king. And then we see that everybody goes to worship Badimo, the ancestors. The ancestors are also under Mudimo, the supreme person. So in that way, we learn reality and we try to consult with the highest reality. What is the source of this? What's the plan they have with this creation? And so modernity, the main criticism is that they are cancelling, checking with the source of everything. Like Krishna says, everybody follows my path in all respects. So he says there's nothing anyone can realize or understand that is outside me or my creation. But he says I reward them accordingly. As they surrender to me, I reward them accordingly. Means as we align our human will with divine will, then we are released from all these trappings of materialism or godlessness. In one sense, I think someone like Brother Enigma, even though he's such an enigma, and but he is pointing to a higher way of living. That he's making Jesus such a lawmaker and such that even those who believe and profess Jesus want to kind of stop the brother. Wait, man, now there's too many
rules.
Too many rules. But if you're really honest and sincere and you listen, none of it is like just evil. It's just that we are feeling it's too much because we want all these other so-called freedoms in the name of still feeling that we're still aligned to Morena Jesus.
Oh, that's a very interesting thing, because nothing that he said is not in the Bible. He's not very original.
Yeah.
And that's scary. Like, even from what to eat, what to wear, All of it is in Leviticus. All of it is in the First Testament. So are you saying that what he's saying is wrong in that? Are you also saying that the book is wrong? What are you saying? Like, is the rejection of him or of the book? Because then that's scary. Like, let's have a conversation then about is it the messenger that you don't like, or is it the message that you don't like? Because there's also that in the world, that sometimes we tend to reject the person and not and reject everything that comes with that, but forget that the fact that he's bringing forth something that's there. Like, remember, he's asking people, remember what is said. Don't take it, don't be too far astray, because also there's the wanting to be comfortable with people. So there's that the one world, the world order agenda, and there's the agenda of God who's saying do this, this and that. And so we're trying to mix these two, and somehow we're failing. And he's saying you're failing because you're mixing two things that just don't go together. And so if you're going to call yourself a Christian, if you're going to call yourself anything, what's the essence of that thing that you're calling yourself? And a lot of people really get upset at that, because you have to then really look into what is this thing. And also, you wouldn't be upset if you read the book. That's another big thing that the people just don't read. And even
they
Jesus,
think he made it up.
They think he made it up. And that's something he's not even strikingly original. Like, if you look at him, you're like, oh, okay, and then what? Like, you're not saying anything new. Like, you're saying what's in the book. Yeah. But also Jesus said, my people will perish because of a lack of knowledge. You will perish because you just don't read the thing. And even and reading is very different from listening to the audio, because that also you become distracted. But better that than just not knowing what's in there. Like, the importance of reading, I think also in the Bhakti tradition has really brought me back to that. And maybe you can touch a little bit about that, what the importance of reading is, and really taking that literature and understanding it. You also read quite a bit, and maybe we can talk about the importance thereof.
We'll buy 5 minutes from our slot.
Okay. But I wanted to but it's what Savyasachi was saying, that they are trying to remove the source in almost everything now. Just take away the source. Similar with, then, as you're saying, that if you read the book, you'll understand what the pastor is saying is not novel. He's just reciting, regurgitating, or repeating, or just, So for me, I think it's there to say, once we stop consulting the sources of spiritual knowledge, we really are in a downfall. Yeah, because once you consult the source, you don't need validation. That's when you are willing to go crazy. For me, that's where I'm at with a lot of things. Like, as I've said, that the crown chakra thing, to say you reach a certain level in your life where you stop living with fear for the world, for yourself. Like, there is you just, you've entered the void. You've divorced the Lord. Even your senses, because that's the main thing. You must divorce the senses and be in that space. So whatever spiritual or religious following that you are doing, once you are removed from the source, I really think you'll be in a spiral of I don't know, distortion or ignorance, or you might even be a danger to the other followers.
Yes.
Because today you are saying this, tomorrow you're saying this. There is no more common ground. There is nothing grounding you. There is no gravity. Imagine walking around the earth with no gravity. Today you're there. Tomorrow you're there. Tomorrow you west to east. Yeah. That's why we have gravity, to keep us on the same level. And I think for me, it's that thing to say, other people don't really read, as you're saying, that people should read this thing for themselves.
With spiritual education, if it's there from the start, then people understand that the overall human form of life is for realizing one's spiritual values and relationships. So whatever it is that's happening on the periphery is part of what life is. This and that goes on, but one never forgets the actual goal of life. And so that space hasn't been held for spirituality like that. It's opening up more now, but it's also opening up as a new market. There's a lot of just monetizing it. Like, I mean, look at yoga, you know, say where yoga comes from, it's completely tied with the spirituality aspect. But when you commodify it now, actually many spaces want to make sure that you divorce the spirituality, and basically, as long as you've sucked out the life of the thing, you serve the dead matter. It's just, and that's seen as being forward, you know, forward thinking, but that's because they think certain things belong to certain people, because the vision is not broad, that all knowledge is for all sentient beings.
Exactly. Similar to one of the questions, perfect questions, perfect answers, when that tourist was asking Wuti, so now being a vegetarian, how does it all play in? How and the monk was like, even a pigeon is vegetarian. So it's not more on the
just
who,
being a vegetarian.
You know, or you know the what. It's really you reaching your full potential, because there are many animals that are vegetarians, and so what does it mean? They're divine? It's just their diet. But now what do you do with this diet? And when I was a vegetarian, I understood food is fuel. I was so productive, I was so light in the body, in the mind, I was so light to comprehend things at a higher speed.
Actually, this needs to be heard more.
Yeah.
Some people, they don't believe that you actually experience the change.
Sure, first day. What?
Yeah.
But strangely, there are so many people who do that day. Is it the Daniel fast?
Oh yeah.
And it's also vegetarian, but maybe even vegan, because I don't know if you can drink animal products. Can you drink milk on Daniel fast?
I'm not even aware of Daniel fast.
And they
Is
will
it
even
Lent?
no, it's like the first 30 days of the year, like in January. Oh no, it's 21 days. Sorry, it's 21 days. First 21 days of the year. But as soon as they're done, beg to.
Yeah. Yeah. Like even stronger sometimes.
Like, and they'll even say like, yo, you know, this was amazing. I felt so light. Vara, vara, vara. But as soon as they're done with that 21 days, they're like,
they make up.
They lost up.
It's what's that the elephant's bathing.
Yeah.
He
Lecture
bathes and it
instruction,
comes
then I
out
take
and
pour it
throws
to
the
death.
dust again.
Exactly. Like, give me 2 steaks instead of 1. I think I'm just
I'm catching up.
make it 2.
Crazy.
You were mentioning about the importance of reading, picking up on Nomsa's point.
Oh yes.
Yes, and I think part of what I was thinking, just as we move to the end, we're seeing a theme. Without knowledge, or when there's ignorance, then there's darkness and people are in danger, and we operate on a lower vibration. And that people are being controlled mainly by being deprived of a knowledge. Like if we were to say, if Nomsa spoke to, you know, what plan could be there? Imagine there's a whole plan that's unfolding in society, and we are not privy to it. We just sort of are being pulled along. And therefore hearing and reading, that culture of getting knowledge about your surroundings, and especially about the spiritual reality, I would say knowledge becomes like the sun, which removes the darkness. When this darkness is removed, then we feel much more at ease. Yeah. You know, when it's nighttime and there's a little bit of fear there because we don't know what's happening. So what's part of the ignorance that is there is that then we begin to fear things we shouldn't fear. Like people are like that, like don't tell me, you know, like that ignorance is bliss of sci-fi in the Matrix. We'd rather close our eyes. So, Brother Enigma, in one sense, is creating a lot more of awareness of what are the tenets within the Bible. And he may be touching nerves because we've integrated, as we were talking about, the lifestyle of the darkness. And so when the light is coming in, you know, it's been so dark, light hurts the eyes, and we're squealing. So in one sense, even part of our platform here is that we want to promote knowledge, and we're promoting specifically this Vedic knowledge, which is the Sanskrit-based knowledge, the oldest knowledge wisdoms of the planet. And we're inviting everyone to, whatever it is that you know and yet you're following, also examine it in light of what do the oldest wisdoms say about whatever subject it is that I'm in. Especially, I would say in spirituality, this ABC entry-level Bhagavad Gita, this is the plug. And most of the things that I speak on is based on this Bhagavad Gita, books like Srimad Bhagavatam. So if you think you heard something that is you want clarity on, it's not my fertile brain that just has stuff. It's life that we're looking at as it's unfolding, plus we're using this ancient wisdom systems. So with those words, I would say maybe our conversation has been around such things. I'd like for you to just give us some parting words, your hopes, your takeaways, and then we will be loving you and leaving you and seeing you in the next one.
Yeah. Okay, let me go first now, because I really like the knowledge that we are sharing here. I've been very drawn to Asian spirituality, knowledge from the East. Somehow I feel like it's granular. It's my mind and my spirit can consume it faster and easier. I know it's like deep and in depth, but it's truth. Truth is truth, you know. It could come from a thick or thin book, but truth is truth. It just resonates with the soul. And I found my Dharma reading, books written by monks, and nothing was the same. And it connects to who I was, even from as early as I could remember, finding my purpose or reconnecting with it. So I appreciate being here, and I hope more people can definitely come to the platform, learn and follow the teachings. Yeah.
Thank you, Linda.
Oh yeah, this has been a very beautiful conversation. I wish we had a little more time. But I think my takeaway is we need to read more. Like, it's important to equip ourselves with knowledge, because now we're learning about what's happening in Hollywood and what's happening in the world. I think the world order and all of that. So what are we going to do? Because we can just like panic and be disturbed by it. But there are alternatives. There is another world. There is a way out. And so let's try and do that. At least I'll do that. I'll try to do that while still fighting for the land. I'm making sure that there's a lot more of us who have access to that. But it's really important to find ourselves reading, and to find spiritual teachers who are going to lead us as well. Like, really interrogate the people who are saying whatever they're saying, and what's the essence of it, and then incorporate it into our lives. Like, we're in the information age, and there's so much that you can get from TikTok, but there's also a lot of garbage. So guard your time, because that's the one thing that's very limited. We feel like we have so much of it, and that it's so limited. And so that's my takeaway, that there's a lot you don't know, but with what you know, do what you can. Because with that, it's like, we don't know this. That's almost the how people reject something. Like, but we don't know the whole Bible. Certain the books have been adjusted, altered. With any books of knowledge, it's like, but this has been altered, and that. But what you have, do you know? Like, with what you have,
are you applying something?
Yeah. What are you taking away with the little that you have?
Yeah.
Even implementing 20% of it. So I think that's my takeaway, that I guess I'm responsible at the end of the day for whatever is happening to me. Because if I don't take that responsibility, I can't blame the next person. That other person is doing their agenda, whatever agenda that they have, they are pushing it, and they are doing a brilliant job at it. And I'm here like, but they did this, and then at the end of the day, it's like, and then what did you do? That's always my thing. It's like, but what did I do? Because there's very little that I'm doing, to be honest. in changing that. And it's easy. It's easy to be distracted. It's easy to do all of these things. So yeah, doing the hard thing, I guess. Like there's those things, like trying to do the hard thing, which is trying to be conscious about my every move. And also compassion. I think that's the one thing that we really, as we were talking, one thing that kept coming up is being compassionate on ourselves and other people as beings. Like we can be very hard. Like sometimes it's hard to hear that message because it may be coming like very heavy-handedly, but it's a compassionate thing to do. Like if someone is willing to discipline you, that's a person who really loves you. So there's a lot of compassion in that, and I think there was a lot of compassion in the room as we were talking.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Thank you guys. And that compassion is a brilliant note to end on. Compassionate to ourselves by trying to take on board some process of transforming and rising in consciousness. And also seeing that whatever else others are doing, which we may find sometimes very wrong, abominable, but we can understand that everyone is being influenced by certain forces, whatever knowledge. If we can contribute some influence that will uplift, then we're really being a brother's keeper, you know. So thank you. If you like the conversation, and I know that you like the conversation, if you've stayed until this part, just do the right thing, you know, subscribe, like, and share. Share is most important. Whatever you find good, share with your neighbor, your friends. Yes. And we'll see you soon. And definitely these two will come back here. And we'll have some conversations. I see them nodding, so we hold them accountable that they will come back.
Digital agreement.
Yes.
Just sign the digital contract.
This is like some spiritual coercion here. For a good thing, yes. We really appreciate your minds, your hearts, and and in the comments you'll tell me if I'm being off. We need them back.
All right.
So take care. See you in the next one. Hare Krishna.